The hands tell it first. Not the face the cameras worshipped. Not the famous mouth. Not the eyes that once held whole theaters in their hush. The hands. At 91, Sophia Loren sits with them folded in her lap as if they belong to someone she has spent a lifetime trying to comfort. Light leans across the room in a pale afternoon band. It touches the edge of a photograph, finds the silver of a frame, rests for a moment on the skin time has thinned but not defeated. The room is quiet in the way only long lives become quiet. Not empty, never empty, just full of voices that no longer arrive when called. She has lived long enough to outlast the noise that once surrounded her, long enough to hear what remains after applause has gone from the walls. And what remains is not triumph. It is memory. It is Naples in the bones, hunger in the bones, a child with skinny legs, an absent father, a young unmarried mother, and a beginning so fragile it could have been blown out by history itself. Long before the gowns, long before the flashbulbs, long before the world decided she was untouchable, she had already learned a cruel lesson, that beauty does not protect a child from shame, and fame does not go back and feed the hungry girl she used to be. Her memoir traces that early life through poverty near Naples, an absent father, and the stigma of being born outside marriage. The Guardian. That is the confession resting now beneath the silence. Not that she was adored. Everyone knew that. Not that she was desired. They built an empire on that image. The truth was smaller, sadder, harder to say aloud. For 70 years, Hollywood saw the woman. It never fully saw the wound. And even now, with the day settling around her and the room holding still, there is something she carried farther than any award, farther than any love affair, farther than the face that made strangers stop breathing. Something unspoken, something from the beginning, something she could wear diamonds over, but never bury. It waits here still. You can almost hear it breathing. Then the room changes, not all at once. Memory never moves that way. It arrives like perfume from another floor of the house, like music from a car window at a red light, like the taste of a decade returning before you can name it. Now the air is warmer, busy, electric. The girl from Pozzuoli has become Sophia Loren, and the world cannot stop looking. The cameras loved angles. She gave them weather. In the 1950s and 1960s, she moved through Italian cinema and Hollywood with that rare force some people are born carrying and others spend whole careers trying to imitate. She was not delicate. She was not decorative. She was alive on screen in a way that made everyone else seem arranged. There was the neck, the stride, the laughter that felt half invitation, half warning. Men in tuxedos leaned toward her. Directors built frames around her. Crowds pressed against barricades to catch a glimpse of what they were certain could not be real. Then came the films that fixed her in the public imagination. The world remembers the sensuality. Yes, it remembers the famous glance at a dinner table. It remembers the striptease in Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow with Marcello Mastroianni unraveling in comic surrender while the queue laughed. Loren herself later recalled those moments with warmth, especially the work with Vittorio De Sica and Mastroianni. W Magazine. But glory is easiest to recall in fragments. A dress at an airport. A flash of bare shoulder under studio light. A Roman night with too many people calling your name. A producer waiting just off camera. 1,000 rooms opening because you entered them. And there was Carlo Ponti, older by decades, already powerful, already married when he met the teenage Sophia Loren in the early 1950s. He recognized something more than surface. He helped shape the actress, guided the career, and remained bound to her through scandal, exile, annulment, remarriage, and the long machinery of European film. Time later wrote that they had been together since 1950, through 2 marriages to each other and 37 films he backed and she appeared in. Time. From the outside, it looked like certainty. From the outside, it looked like destiny. But from the outside, everything does. Because beneath the heat of those years was another current entirely. While audiences were watching the entrance, she was living the cost of it. The marriage could not simply be lived in peace. There were legal humiliations. The proxy wedding in Mexico. The annulment. The brand of bigamy placed over their names. the need to live abroad or in secrecy until they became French citizens and married again in 1966. Time. Imagine it. To be the face every magazine wanted, and still to live as though your own happiness needed disguising. To be wanted everywhere, and still not feel safe. To stand in the center of the century's gaze, and still carry the old fear that everything can be taken. You know this feeling. Maybe not with photographers waiting outside. Maybe not with studio heads and premieres and planes. But you know the feeling of finally reaching the life you once begged for, only to discover that some part of you is still standing barefoot in the place where the begging began. You know what it is to succeed past your own childhood and still feel your childhood tugging at your sleeve. The old shame, the old hunger, the old question, am I loved or only admired? That question does not vanish because the dresses get finer. Sometimes it grows louder, and that is where the real pain begins. Not in the years when everything is falling apart, in the years when everything appears to be shining. Because those are the years when no one believes you can still be lonely. No one believes beauty can sit down at the end of the night and feel afraid. No one believes the most desired woman in the room might still be answering, in her own heart, to the child who was not chosen first. So the work went on. The face stayed luminous. The machine kept moving. And somewhere inside that golden fire, something remained untouched by fame. Not healed, just hidden. That hidden place began early. Long before Hollywood. Long before Ponte. Long before Oscar Gold. She was born into instability, raised in war-shadowed poverty near Naples, in a world where being the daughter of an unmarried mother carried its own social cruelty. Her memoir describes a childhood shaped by want, absence, and survival. And one review notes that she was called Toothpick because of her skinny legs. The Guardian. Children do not have language for humiliation. They make homes inside it instead. They learn how to sit with it at the table, how to fold it into silence, how to behave as if it is normal that love comes inconsistently, that a father can remain more rumor than shelter, that a mother can be near and still unable to protect you from the world's naming of things. And once you have been formed there, once the heart learns that affection is uncertain and dignity can be revoked by the crowd, you do not simply grow famous and leave those lessons behind. You carry them into every room, into every romance, into every compromise that asks you to call survival by some prettier name. This is where the title's truth lives. Not in scandal, not in gossip, in the private architecture of a woman who became a symbol before she had fully been allowed to become safe. People like to speak of beauty as if it were a kind of blessing dropped cleanly from the sky. They do not often ask what beauty becomes when it lands in a life already marked by hunger. They do not ask what happens when the world starts worshipping the same face that once bent over scarcity, the same body that once stood in line under war and want, the same young soul that learned, too early, that nothing stays. Then there was love, or what love asks of us when we are already frightened of losing it. Carlo Ponti was not a passing chapter. He was the central fact of her adult life. He discovered her, protected her, complicated her life, helped build the career and became, for decades, the witness who stayed. The relationship survived public ridicule, legal warfare, exile from easy belonging, and the strain of living in a Europe that did not know what to do with them. Time the Guardian. But staying is not the same as simplicity. In her memoir, there is that unsettling moment when she mentions flowers from Cary Grant and Ponte publicly slaps her. She writes of it not with the outrage modern audiences expect, but with the tragic reasoning many women of her era learned to use on themselves, that somehow she had deserved it, that jealousy meant feeling. The detail matters because it opens a window into the emotional weather she inhabited. Devotion mixed with fear, gratitude mixed with surrender, love entangled with what could not easily be spoken. The Guardian. That is not a rumor. That is not embellishment. That is the ache. How many women watching her on screen knew that language without ever saying it aloud? How many understood, instantly, the terrible elegance of remaining loyal to what wounds you because it also rescued you? How many men, now old themselves, have spent years realizing too late what silence can do inside a marriage? Think about where you were in 1962, what the furniture looked like, The sound your front door made. The person whose laughter still lived in the next room. Somewhere in that year, Sophia Loren made history by winning the Academy Award for Two Women, becoming the first performer to win for a foreign language role. On screen, she played a mother trying to save her daughter in war. Off screen, millions watched a woman crowned at the highest level of the industry, Oscars. And maybe that is why the performance cut so deep. Because she did not play suffering like an actress borrowing someone else's pain for the day. She knew what fear tasted like. She knew what it was to come from rubble into scrutiny. She knew that a woman can be fierce because tenderness has already been threatened. The Academy remembers the role as a strong-willed mother braving assault to protect her daughter. What the camera captured was not just technique. It was recognition. Oscars, the great wound of her life, was not only where she began. It was what beginning that way teaches you to accept. It teaches you to be grateful before you are equal, to stay quiet before you are understood, to treat survival itself as proof that you should not ask for too much more. And yet she did ask life for more. She asked it for children after miscarriages that left her grief-stricken. She endured those losses and later became a mother of two sons. Time notes that after several miscarriages, she gave birth to Carlo Ponte Jr. in 1968. Later, family became central enough that Loren slowed her film work and eventually returned to the screen through collaboration with her son Eduardo Ponte. Time: the New York Times. That part matters too, because for some women, motherhood is not an epilogue. It is the one room in life where performance finally stops. No audience, no lens, no arranged expression. Just love in its ordinary clothes. And perhaps that is why the later years carry such a different sound around her. Less conquest, more reckoning, less heat, more truth. When she returned in The Life Ahead, directed by Eduardo, it felt less like a comeback than a circle closing softly. The public saw an actress again. A mother may have felt something else, that her life's most intimate devotion had reached back and placed a hand on her shoulder. The New York Times. By then, so much had already been lost. Youth, of course. Illusion too. And eventually Ponte, who died in 2007 at 94, after more than half a century bound to her life and work. Reuters and Time both marked not just the death of a husband, but the passing of the man who had been woven into the very structure of a public and private world. Time: Reuters. Now we return to the room, to the age when almost everyone who remembers the beginning is gone. This may be the loneliest part of a long life. Not pain, not illness, not even grief in its sharpest hour. Recognition thinning out around you.